our district website has some of the free resources that our expert presenter will be talking about tonight. So please make sure that you have bookmarked Rotary District 7450. Okay, because we've actually got a district committees link and then a public image committee. And from there, you'll see the public image resources. So all this information is literally just a few clicks away. And with that now, I would like to introduce Laura Spear, who is going to run the show tonight. Okay, she's going to be leading the training. She's a senior executive with more than 30 years experience in marketing and communications, primarily for high-tech companies. Laura has wide and deep expertise across all aspects of marketing and communications. Laura is a charter member and past president of the Rotary Club of Neshoba Valley. Is that the correct pronunciation?
You got it.
Neshoba Valley. She serves as her district's public image chair and is the incoming Rotary International Public Image Coordinator for our zone, Zone 32. And she's a member of the Rotary International Communications Committee. Laura has served as a facilitator for the Northeast Pet President-elect's, the PETS training, Rotary Leadership Institute, RLI. She lives in Massachusetts, and we are happy that she is visiting Pennsylvania with us tonight via Zoom. Would you please welcome Laura Spear?
Woo!
And tell us, do you have any snow on the ground, Laura?
Oh, we have snow. And it's been cold, but it got up to 40 today. So we had a heat wave. It's going to go back down. You know, these 7-degree mornings are a little much. I don't know if you've been having it, but they say another one's coming up the coast. So I think you're going to get it as well.
Exactly. Well, we're all nice.
So
It looks
Laura,
like we're all nice.
is this the same Neshoba that has the Neshoba Valley Chorale and the Groton Theater?
Groton is part of Neshoba Valley, yes.
I used to live in Groton.
Seriously? Oh, that's
Seriously.
awesome. Groton Pepperell area? Yeah.
Yes, actually in the Pepperell address.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Small
so
world.
you know, well, here's my small world connection. My daughter went to Bryn Mawr for her undergraduate. So I have spent a lot of time in Wayne and Ardmore, even down to Chester, Westchester. So I know that area very, very well, and I miss it. Ever since she graduated, it was like, I miss that main line. That was really fun.
You're welcome to come back anytime, Laura. I'm sure we'd be happy to host you. And we should say, by the way, that your official title for tonight's program is "This is Not Your Grandfather's Rotary." So I wanted to mention that as well. But we are going to talk about branding and the People of Action campaign. So with that, Laura, you should have access to sharing your screen. But if there's anything you need from me, please let me know. And also, if I could ask everybody to mute, okay, we will have some interactivity a bit later, but for Laura's presentation, if you could please mute yourself, that would be helpful. Thanks.
Thanks, Lisa. I don't think it's going to take a full hour. I'm going to go through some of the kind of the logistics, if you will, the background, the data, why we're doing this in the first place. But I have always found the most impactful way of sharing information is by demonstrating it. So I wanted to walk through things like Brand Center and how to create your club logo. Some of your clubs have it, some not so much, and just kind of where you can find these resources and how to apply them. Having said that, I think I'm the first, and there's going to be a follow-up presentation on website and social media coming up in early February. So think of this as kind of the 101 level. And I am happy to answer any questions, review any materials, and so on. So I'll just say that in advance. Okay, let me share then. We don't want that. We want this. Okay. So public image. This is not your grandfather's Rotary. And I say that because there is a perception that we are trying to change, starting from Rotary International all the way down through all of our clubs. My own personal club is celebrating its 10th birthday coming up in the coming month, and we're still trying to adapt in many ways from kind of the old Rotary to the new. And I know there are many clubs out there that are 50, 60, even 100 years old, and it's hard to make that change, but we need to if we're going to continue to encourage new members. So let me just go through. So why are we doing this in the first place? You know, why are we even worried about promoting Rotary? Who cares? Well, the one thing I like about Rotary International is that it's very data driven. And so they do surveys throughout the years. And back in 2011, they did a global survey reaching out to people who were not necessarily Rotarians, sorry. They reached out to community leaders, nonprofit leaders, just basic people all around the world and said, what do you know about Rotary? Well, at that time, 40% didn't have a clue of Rotary. They're like, Rotary? Never heard of it. Rotary? Is that like a bicycle shop? Rotary? Is that some kind of motor vehicle? They just didn't know. But, 60% at least had heard of Rotary. So at that time, Rotary International invested in this major brand update. And that's when the new logo went into effect. You can see it down here on the left corner. It's the word Rotary with the wheel. The wheel alone didn't make any sense to the majority of the public. So by adding the word Rotary, they were trying to add more recognition. So then in 2015, there was a follow-up survey. Again, what do you know about Rotary? And the good news, 75%, so we increased from 60% to 75% of the people actually have heard of Rotary. So that was really good news, right? Well, okay, so now they've heard of it, but they're not quite sure what Rotary stands for. And in fact, only a little over a third of the people who were surveyed understood that Rotary was a service organization. And in fact, 60% had no clue as to whether there was a Rotary club in their local area or a local Rotary project. And even more so, 1/3 had no idea of Rotary International, including our really famous project of End Polio Now. So there was still a lacking of understanding. Even though awareness increased, knowing what we stood for was kind of like, we're not quite sure. If you were to ask people who are Rotarians what we stand for, there was a survey done in 2018, and the members, they loved it. We're all about service. We're all about fellowship and friendship and networking, and we have leadership, and we have this business ethics. We are very full of integrity, and we embrace diverse perspectives, all of the good attributes that go with Rotary. But when you go outside the Rotary circle, you get this public perception of, it's like an elitist organization. You have to have money to be part of Rotary. Or it's for older men of different occupational and educational levels than I am. It's an exclusive organization. Even it's a lunch club, not a service organization. So we really need to change what that perception is so that it matches what Rotarians believe. And how are we going to do that? Well, the reason why we want to do that is once you get awareness, you have to kind of go further. And this is like a sales funnel. If any of you are in sales or marketing, you kind of know what that funnel looks like. You start with, I've heard of you. And then you go into, now I kind of understand what you do. And then once you understand, it leads to interest and then engagement and advocacy. And all of that funnel means you're increasing the involvement of your existing members, the involvement of your community, the support for things like fundraisers and sponsorships, as well as increasing potential membership. You're not going to go up to someone on the street and say, hey, I'm in Rotary. Want to be a member? Doesn't quite work. So what you have to do is build that Rotary brand. And it takes time and effort, repetition and consistency across all of us and all of our clubs and all of our club members. So why do you need consistency? Well, the more we do together, it's like a 1 + 1 = 3. People then understand who we are and what we do, and it reaches out to prospective members and sponsors. It helps increase our member participation, And with more members, we can do more in the world. We can increase our impact. We can increase our sponsorships and fundraising. So by being consistent, we are really spreading that brand beyond just geographical bands. So where do we start? That's the tricky part. Okay, I understand the need for branding. I understand that we have to do something, but how do we do that? Well, let's look at the fundamentals. So first of all, there is a new center, not so new anymore. It's been around for about 5, 6, 7 years or so, called the Brand Center. And I am hopeful every one of you has been there. Brand Center has been updated consistently with templates and guidelines and logos, all kinds of information where you can find how you apply that to your outgoing and even your internal communications. It's not just a matter of reaching out to the public. You want everybody, even within your club, to kind of operate under the same look and feel and messaging. So where do you start from there? Well, there used to be, I don't know if you guys can see this, a voice and visual identity guide. And as you can see, I hope, it's got lots of pages. And by the way, I have tons of them. So if you're interested, just reach out to me. But Rotary International found that it was very cumbersome for a lot of people to try to buy one of these or download the PDF and print it out. I mean, we're talking like several megs of data and printing, and this one is 56 pages long. That's a lot for your ink cartridges to deal with. But it was comprehensive. It had guidelines for everything: logos, colors, font, what pictures to use, what shouldn't you use, why the brand was important, how to apply it to your voice and messaging, and on, what not to do, what to do. And again, for the average Rotarian, it was a little much. And it was hard for Rotary International to keep updating it. Again, I have copies if you want one, just let me know. Having said that, Rotary International recently rolled out a brand new section on Brand Center called Brand Elements. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So it really touches on the top level information. And you can go through and understand logos and marks of excellence. That is your logo, by the way. What voice and messaging you should use, and it includes some templates as well. So I'll show you a little bit of that. But again, this is my Bible. I love this. I have a box full of them. I bought a whole bunch before they stopped selling them. Again, I'll give you my information at the end. You can reach out to me directly. Love to send it to you. Okay, so that's where you start. These are the basic building blocks. So from there, it goes into how to use these elements. And the logo is the first thing. It's called the master brand. And as I said before, you use the word Rotary with that yellow wheel. You don't use just Rotary. You just don't use the yellow wheel. You put them together. Again, public perception was we don't know what that blue and yellow wheel meant. We didn't understand. So that's why they really emphasize the fact that you have to use the word Rotary with the wheel. And for club-specific projects or programs, activities, websites, and so on, they want you to use Rotary Club of or something Rotary Club. So I know in my district, we have the Hudson Rotary Club, but we also have Rotary Club of Neshoba Valley. There's a template that makes you, and gives you the ability to do both.
Excuse me, Laura,
yeah.
May I interrupt for just a second? We do have several new Rotarians here, and there's a natural curiosity about where does one find the Brand Center. And could you just recap that? And also, it does relate to the My Rotary login, right?
I will get there. I'm
Gotcha.
going to show you how to do it. So
Perfect.
thank you for that question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you have Rotary International, and these are for materials that really come from corporate RI. So if you are trying to promote just your club, You do the Rotary Club logo. If you're doing something like sharing a tweet or a Facebook post from Rotary, it would use the Rotary International logo. And then there's a third logo called the Rotary Foundation. And just to be clear, Rotary International focuses on the clubs and the operational aspects of Rotary. The Rotary Foundation is the 501c organization that really spends the money towards grants and global programs. So that's the nonprofit arm. Okay. All right, let's go on. So just a few examples of what to do and what not to do. This came from this book. All right, so first of all, you want to make sure that word Rotary shows up. Secondly, use color when you can. You only use the white or black version if there's a need. But here's the big thing, and I've seen it again, even with my own club. First of all, get rid of that blue and yellow wheel. Whether it's with the word Rotary or just the wheel, get rid of it, gone. It went away almost 10 years ago. Get rid of it. No, no. Secondly, don't try to use the Rotary wheel as part of some creative graphic. Again, my club does the same thing. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Because first of all, Rotary with the wheel, it's trademarked. When you start playing with a trademark, you lose that equity. You don't want that. So we want to keep it just as Rotary with that little wheel next to it. And so when you have something like this, this is what you should use, Rotary with the wheel. Don't put some kind of background or funky font. We need to adhere to what is trademarked. Don't reverse it. Don't try to make it slanted or italicized. Again, we want to use what is trademarked. Okay, so those are good examples of what you should or should not do. All right, now another place to learn about this stuff is not only Brand Center, but I am promoting the Learning Center, which is also available from My Rotary. There is a whole slew of training classes around public image, but there are a whole bunch as well that could be appropriate for any member in your club, like our logo representing Rotary, or promoting your club as people of action, or the Rotary brand. It just talks about what a brand is. I know I gave a presentation to a club and one gentleman said, I don't know what a brand is. And I said, a brand is what your organization stands for. It's the perception people have. It's the promise you make to the public. So we really want to make sure that we're consistently saying the same thing across all of our clubs and across all of our members. And I'll give you some example. Golden Arches, people know that's McDonald's. Big Blue, people have heard of that. That's IBM. The swoosh, the red swoosh, that's Nike. So there are perceptions that are associated with those elements. So it's really important that we are trying to reflect our personality and our promise for what we stand for as part of our brand. And you can learn more in the Learning Center. Okay, now, people of action. That just kind of popped out of nowhere, right? Well, again, based on that 2015 study, well, we know what Rotary is, we've heard of it, but we're not quite sure what you mean when I hear Rotary. So that's where people of action came into play. It's really a large, they call it a campaign, but it's how we portray ourselves to the public. So by looking across the world with everything that we do across Rotary, you can see Rotary is where we all come together to share ideas, we join other leaders, and we take action to create lasting change. So that goes back to this guy, way back when it came out, when it was join leaders, share ideas, take action. People of action builds upon that. And what you see here are people actually doing work. They're not standing there next to each other, arms around each other. They're not posed. They're really trying to show that they're doing something. And that's what we're trying to portray with people of action. So it answers what's Rotary, who we are, the impact that we make, and how we are different from other service organizations. We want to differentiate ourselves in the way we talk. And you can see, here's an example, together we, so that's part of the campaign. Together we, and then there's a whole list of words that have been legally approved around the world. And in this case, it's transform. Together we transform. And look at the picture. They're actually doing something that transforms something that looks a little rickety into something that looks nice. That's what we're trying to portray, a story. We're trying to tell a story about what we do as Rotarians and in our clubs. With this framework, we're providing that consistency that I talked about earlier. We're talking about needs that we have in the community and the actions that we took and who benefits from it. And the best part is it accommodates partners, because more and more Rotary clubs have to partner with other organizations. It's not just Rotary. It may be a Lions Club. It may be a food service organization. It may be a senior center. And so you're partnering to really, really have results that make an impact on your community. And so that's the framework for People of Action. And People of Action is not just a press release. It's not just a Facebook posting. You can actually really put it across all kinds of social media, on your website, put it into a club brochure, the things that you do. You can create print ads and even have TV and radio spots. And what I have here are some examples, some from my club, some from other clubs. But what we're trying to do is show that we are doing a lot of activities to benefit our communities under this consistent framework. Where do you go for information? Brand Center. Lots and lots of guidelines. And oh, by the way, here's another freebie that I'm happy to give away, happy to mail to you. We have these campaign guidelines that I printed out. And because we are meeting virtually, I am happy to get rid of physical copies. So stay tuned for my contact information. I'm happy to send copies of the guidelines for the voice and visual identity, as well as the campaign for People of Action. You can apply them in numerous ways. As I said, lots of materials, and some of them are pre-canned. So if you go into Brand Center, you can find these things and just use them, like the ads or the radio spots. You can show videos either at meetings or events that you're running. Very simple, very, very simple that you can apply. Okay, resources, again, Brand Center, we're gonna walk through that. And now, here is the time to do some demonstration. All right, so let me get out of that. And let me go into here. All righty. So the first thing you are going to do is go into Rotary.org. Now, to get to the Brand Center, there are various ways. You can do Rotary.org/Brand Center, just like you can see up here in my field up here. Or, but wait, brandcenter.rotary.org, it goes to the same place. But wait, you can just go into Rotary.org, and I'll show you how to get there. So you got to go in, and I hope my Rotary. All right, I'm going to sign in, and I'm going to give it my email login, and I hope everybody has one. If not, it's really easy. You sign up for it and specify your own password. And it's thinking, and it's thinking. I cleared out all of the cache, so I have to do this from scratch, so it's going to take a little while. Here we go. Okay, I'm in. You can see I'm in. If you go into the Manage tab, you're going to see Brand Center. And it's thinking, there we go. So you're going to see some tabs at the top, Our Brand, Logos, Materials, Ads, Images, and Video. If you scroll down, guess what? You're going to see Our Brand, Logos, Materials, Ads, Images, and Video. You're also going to see People of Action. And they used to have a little section saying, what's new? Don't be surprised if it comes back. This is brand new. They just updated it last week. And I think it's going to be updated this week again. But go on in, check it out, play. I think it's really interesting just to kind of keep going through and scrolling to see what's there. If you click on Our Brand, it's going to tell you why it's important. All right, People of Action. And then this is the brand elements, the replacement for this book. So as I mentioned, this 55-page book is being kind of condensed into top-level deliverables that make it easy and accessible for all Rotarians, not necessarily someone who is a brand expert and guru. If you were to click on brand elements, you are going to see all kinds of links here talking about the basic brand elements. So you have signature systems for logos, lockups. So this is if you're doing something with another club. You have 2 logos, by the way. Or if you have a program that you want to sponsor, or if you're partnering with someone like a Lions Club. And I'm going to just show you what it looks like. So you've got your club logo, and it's got this little horizontal line, and then you have either the program name or the partner name, or even the partner logo, as you can see. All right, so I'm going to go back. Mark of Excellence, that's the wheel. So a couple things about the wheel. Don't use it by itself, except that is a nice icon or graphic for your social media. So if you were to go into Facebook and you see like a little picture in the corner that represents who you are, this is what you would use. It's really simple to do. You can get it from the Rotary.org site as well. Then they added some things like area of focus icons, which is kind of cool. Talks about the voice and messaging, best practices for the type of photos that you should have. Colors. Oh my goodness, let me talk to you about colors. So we have a whole lot of colors, as you can see, but blue is not blue is not blue. We really want to emphasize the Rotary Royal Blue. That is the primary blue, and they have different ways of specifying that primary Rotary blue. If you are a designer, you probably understand what hex and CMYK, PMS colors are, but I think if you are a Microsoft Office user, you might be more familiar with RGB, and this gives you that special formula to make this color. Then the secondary color, the Rotary Gold, that's for accents. You don't want to use it a lot, it's for emphasis. But as you scroll down, you're going to see some of these other colors that can be used, but again, they're not the primary or dominant color. It's the Rotary Royal Blue that's the most important one. All right, let's go back. And then typography. Oh my goodness. I say, oh my goodness, because you can pay or you can get free. And my preference is go free. So if you pay, the official primary font is Frutiger. That's what you're going to see in all of the Rotary International communications. So if you have certain applications, you can use Open Sans, as shown here on the right. That's free. Others, like Microsoft Office applications, support Arial, Narrow, and Arial. That's what I use, by the way, as my primary font. Is the easiest. Almost everybody can see it and use it. It just seems to be the most simple. As a secondary font, you would use the pay version is Sentinel. The free version is Georgia. Again, I tend to use Georgia. If you have a whole bunch of text, you're doing a big detailed brochure or a flyer that's got a ton of words, just stick with this Arial narrow or Arial. You don't want to worry about secondary fonts. So just some best practices, okay? So now that we got beyond kind of the basics, let's go back up to Brand Center and let's go into logos. All right, so there are descriptions of how to use logos, how to use the foundation logo. Again, two different organizations, although they're linked. But most importantly, let's go into the Rotary logo template. You click on that and you're going to see all kinds of templates. I don't know why they do that, but that's what we want. We want the club logo template. So we're going to create one for, let's say, Bryn Mawr, because of my daughter. So language is English, the club, Rotary, normal, full color, and my alignment. So if I want to say below the logo, I can say Club of Bryn Mawr. Oops, and I gotta fix my typo. There we go. There you go. Easy enough. But if this happens to be the Bryn Mawr Club, I could do this. Easy. Or in some cases, it may be split. So you might say here, Bryn Mawr Rotary Club. Okay. So in this case, I've kind of split, so I have both the top and the bottom. Now, it really depends on how your club is chartered. I know Rotary going forward from when my club was chartered is to start with Rotary Club of, but many older clubs have been chartered differently. So we wanted to give the flexibility so that you could customize this for how you want. So I do believe this is Rotary Club of Bryn Mawr. Okay, and I'm going to click Save. And what it's going to do is put it into the brand center for a few days. Maybe, I think it's up to 30 days now. So if I want to say logo, creator, and I want to find it later, I can say Bryn Mawr. Okay, so this is being stored in Brand Center. Now, I want to download it so I can actually use it. Well, right away, I get a PDF, but I don't really want a PDF. I want like a JPEG. So what you got to do is keep clicking on the refresh. There you go. See the little circular arrow up here in the left corner? And then you can download which version you want. So you can do a PDF. If you want to put something like a logo on a shirt, you could do that. Or a JPEG if you want to put it on your website, or even a PNG. So I'm going to say download. Yep. I acknowledge that it will be deleted after 30 days from the brand center. I've got it locally, not a problem. And so it goes down into my download folder. And there it is. Easy enough. And then it's a JPEG, so it's treated like any other picture in JPEG format. You can upload it. One tip that I have found is there's a lot of white space over on the left. I just go into, and I hate to say it, I use Paint. I know Paint is passe, but I use Paint and I crop it. But you can use any tool just to kind of crop it so that it's getting rid of all this white space on the left. Okay, so that's the logo. Now I'm going to go back to Brand Center. Materials. Oh, look at all of this. Promotional, create your own, people of action, we're a polio. Let's go into a Facebook post on people of action. So you can see if you click on create your own, there's that logo again, the logo lockup. But then we have a couple things for people of action. And then, oh, by the way, you can create your own Rotary Club brochure. I'll show you that in a minute as well. So print ad, don't use very often. We use it periodically as an insert for our local high schools, arts programs. Yeah, we do a full page ad. So we do one of these people of action ads. Most of the time, I click on people of action Facebook post. So, all right, I'm going to create something. Now, the first thing I can do is just go with the stock imagery, stock words. These words, again, are the ones that have been improved by legal. We cannot make up our own words. We have to use these because they have been trademarked. So we can inspire, connect, transform, and so on, all the way to promote peace. So I'm going to say inspire. And if I were to change this to say connect, oh, by the way, the default image changes as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back to connect, or sorry, inspire. And I'm like, well, okay, I can go ahead and just save this and use it, but I really want to feature my club. So I'm going to click on custom. And this little gray area, which is really hard to see, says, okay, click here if you want to use your own photo. So I'm going to click on that, and it pops up my own personal image library. Now, your image library, again, is supposed to only last for 30 days. For some reason, I was an early adopter and I have stuff going back to 2017. So I have no idea. But let's just say, okay, well, we did a Dogs to Vets fundraiser where we raised money at a dog fest for veterans who need service dogs. So let's say I'm going to use that one. Okay, well, you know what? Her head got chopped off. Got to adjust the photo, but I might have a better photo. So let me click on that again. I want to upload something. Down here in the lower left corner is a plus sign. You click on that and you can choose a file. So let's see, I think this is where I put it. Dogs to Vets. Let's see, do we have it here? No, it's not there. And I tried so hard to be prepared. Let's try dogs. All right, let's try this. No, it's not doing it. Okay, so I'm going to try Thanksgiving flowers. Let's try that. There we go. We made some flowers and gave them to a senior center. So we're going to do that. So instead of Dogs to Vets, because I can't find where I put it, I'm going to go down to Thanksgiving flowers and select it. Wait a minute, where'd you go? Okay, let's try it again. Choose file. And thank you for your patience. There we go. Open. All right, so now it's connected to that file. Do you want to upload? Yes. Now here's another trick. Somehow in the image library, it goes in alphabetical order. So you can see it starts with 089, and then it goes on and on and on. And I'm going to go to the very last, Thanksgiving flowers. And there they are. Yay! So we're showing recipients with their flowers. Hooray! I'm going to save that. And again, this is just for storing it in Brand Center. Let's call it Thanksgiving. Okay. And then here we go again. You got to keep refreshing. PDF is always quick, but I don't want a PDF. I want a JPEG. So it's processing on the back end. It's creating that file format based on the image that I've uploaded, the text that I used, Inspire, and we'll just keep refreshing. And sometimes it takes a little time. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. There's my JPEG. And I've acknowledged that it's only going to be in my library for 30 days and download. So it goes into my download folder. And then it's treated just like any other image you may have. Okay, open up. There we go. So I can upload that to my Facebook page, to my website, to my LinkedIn, to my Twitter account, whatever you want to do. So it's pretty basic and very easy to use. My only gotcha is to look for that little plus sign if you're uploading an image, or secondly, make sure you're not cropping people in the middle of their words so that you can't see them. You may have to adjust it a little bit.
Laura, sorry,
Yeah.
may I ask a question? Is there a way to manipulate the wording so that it could be slightly, off center, or,
Nope.
above
Nope.
somebody's head or something?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope, that is standard. That is standard, okay?
Okay.
So the only other thing I wanted to show was the fact that you can create your own Rotary Club brochure. Now, a lot of people don't have club brochures, or they make it up. And we have had one for, oh gosh, probably 4 years. It really hasn't changed much. It's pretty basic. You can go in, and it gives you the ability to do 2 sides. So here's the first side. You can see left panel, middle, right. Your left panel, you can upload the picture that you want, or you can use a default. The middle panel talks about whatever text you want. So you can say your events, or you can say a description about your club. All of this is customizable. So meeting times, you can do that. Okay, you can add your club name. You can put the contact information in here. It's really adjustable. And then if you wanted to, you can go to the other side. Okay, here we go. We have that. Dun, 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 dun. We have English. Haven't done this in a while. We'll get there. Oh, back up here. Sorry. And then you can, again, do the different panels, add your own pictures, change or keep the wording if you want, and just adjust it to your own club. So you can see the text is predefined over here on the right. Here's your middle text, making a difference, blah, blah, blah. The right panel, again, words that you can adjust, blah, 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 and put your own club content in there. So whether it's pictures, meeting times, projects that you do, it's very simple. It's the same thing. You save, and then it's going to ask you to put it into the library under a name. And then it's going to ask you to download it. And you just click on this little thing up here, the circular arrow, again and again and again, and then you'll be able to download it and save it as a PDF for printing. Okay. All right, so I know a bunch of questions came in, and let's see if I can address some of them. Okay. Copies of the booklet, happy to do that. Is it possible for someone to post the link to the Brand Center? So again, it's rotary.org/Brand Center or brandcenter.rotary.org or rotary.org, and you go into My Rotary and go into the Manage tab. So 3 different ways of getting there. You still have to log in, regardless of which way you go into it. You still have to use your Rotary.org credentials.
And Laura, where do we get that for the new members? It's been a while. I don't remember.
You sign up on your own. So if you were to do Rotary.org, okay, you can go into My Rotary. Of course, it keeps in memory. So I hope I'm not here. Yeah, I think it still remembered me, but we'll see. Yeah, it did. Okay, so let me go out of that, sign out, and let's try Rotary.org, My Rotary. And you can go in, sign in, or register for an account. And all you have to do is specify your email and make up your own password.
Beautiful. Okay, we have new members here, so that would be very helpful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, what else do we have here? Physical copies, happy. I keep tab bookmarks of the style guide pages I use the most. Oh my God, Renee, I'm with you. The one I use the most, I think, is the color. So I don't know if you guys can see this, show and tell. It gives you all of those different formulas, the RGB in particular, for each of the different color palettes. I refer to that all the time. Oh my gosh, I love that. So yes. I hear you, Renee. Okay, more requests. Okay, for photo people, GIMP photo editing software is great to help with photo manipulation, and it's free. Thank you so much, Joe. That was a great tip. Great tip. Okay, are there other questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself and we can go from there. I'm going to keep sharing in case anybody wants to see something.
All right, sounds good. Any questions from the audience?
Laura, I have a comment and a question. As far as the comment, I would encourage everyone to go into the Brand Center. The Philadelphia Club redid the website as well as did some promotional videos, and it's really not difficult at all. And it's a terrific resource that will give you tremendous results. So don't be afraid of it.
Thank you, Jay.
So my question is, I guess part of my position in the district is a little bit of the Rotary branding police. And I guess how do you convince people who want to be creative and start putting their own spin on the use of the logo that is really a sign of quality and shouldn't be adulterated? What can you say to them? What kind of tips?
You know, it's something I struggle with in my professional life as well. A lot of people like to be creative. So first of all, it's the consistency that really makes a difference. And again, using consumer-based examples. Do you go into a McDonald's that uses like red arches? No, anywhere you go, you know, it's got golden arches. Everybody knows that. There is a recognition and there's an awareness. Oh, that's where I can go for inexpensive food, clean bathrooms, fast service. You have that association with it. And so that's one good example. When you start playing with the logo, you're really diluting the awareness. I have a presentation that I didn't share tonight that uses examples of United Way in particular. And it showed different United Way organizations. They all look different. They all look different. And so there's no recognition of that connectivity across the organization. It's kind of like, oh, isolated. So if all you want to do is be known for your club and forget Rotary International and forget about all of the goodness behind that, You're just going to go ahead with what you're doing, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase our footprint. We're trying to get new members. We're trying to get better sponsorships. We're trying to get more fundraisers. We're trying to get more support across the community and recognition. And the only way to do that is to be consistent with how we use our logos. And oh, by the way, many organizations that use a logo inconsistently or creatively, they can get sued. So that's kind of the stick. You know, there's the carrot and then there's the
Yeah, thanks for that, Laura. Yeah, and Deb is chiming in, also a credibility issue if not consistent with
Yeah.
branding, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Laura, here's a question. A lot of the older logo is still on those road signs that are in so many of our neighborhoods. Is Rotary International doing anything to address that?
That's up to the clubs. And oh, by the way, in this beautiful book here, I'm going to get the right page. Hang on 1 second. They actually show examples of how to update your road signs. Okay, outdoor road signs. I don't know if you guys can see this in front of me. But there are licensed merchandisers that can go out and create. And I have to say, I've seen the old yellow and blue wheels everywhere, but I've also am starting to see updated signs. Bourne, I think it's the Rotary Club of Bourne, Massachusetts. They have the white background, it's square, it's not round, it's square, and it has Rotary Club of Bourne with the wheel, the yellow wheel next to it. And then they have the meeting time or the website, I think it is underneath it. So you can do it, you can change it. It costs money, it takes time, I get it, but it is up to the club to kind of make that effort.
Laura?
Yes, John.
We just changed all our road signs. We got them from Russell Hampton. That's one of the licensed vendors. And it really was not all that expensive. We got 5 or 6 road signs.
I love that testimonial. Perfect.
It was really easy to do.
Thank
Perfect.
you. And John,
I
I'm
just-
just curious, who actually does the manual labor to install the new sign? I've just always been wondering that question.
We got a club member to do it.
Really? Okay, you don't need the government involved or the municipal?
No, if it's an existing sign, if
Okay.
you put up a sign and you can change it easily, then you can change it. If it's difficult to change, then I guess you would get the municipality to do it. But
Do you know, do we need the Department of Transportation authorization or permission to put up a sign? Do
I
you
think a
know?
new sign, if it's a new sign, yes. If it's an
Okay.
existing sign, I don't believe that you need any authorization.
Okay.
You could check on that. I would hate to think we're acting outside the law, but I don't believe we are because we have too many lawyers in our club.
Thank you, John. All right.
Again,
Any other questions?
I think it depends on the community. I was a member of our planning board for 7 years, as well as a select board member. And so I knew we had bylaws that affect signage, and if they were temporary versus permanent, and what kind of permission you had to get. We had to go to our building department and fill out a form. And if you were nonprofit, it was free. And if you were for profit, you had to pay. I mean, I think it really depends on your local bylaws and ordinances.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to check with your local municipality because sometimes laws change and you're not aware of them.
Yeah.
John, thank you.
One of the things that we as a district did to help promote this changing into the branding that we want to have is that we've actually placed it in our budget that any club that wishes to change its signage to come in compliance, that we would support that in matching dollar for dollar.
That was a great program. Very good.
Roger, are you saying currently for District
Yes.
7450, we have that option available
Yes.
for revising signs? Okay, that would be good to publicize then. Thank you. Governor Roger, in our remaining 2 minutes or 3 minutes or so, is there anything that you would like to say as we close out this session? And I'll also give David Houts a minute if you also would like to chime in before we turn it back over to Laura.
Laura, thank you very much for making this presentation. A lot of times people don't give credit where credit is due in all the hard work and research that goes into branding and how important it is to elevate our organization. If we do not elevate our organization, in 5 or 10 years, it's going to be crickets, quite honestly. And we have something to do with how well we do moving forward. Thank you.
Well, you're more than welcome. One thing I forgot to share, and let me do that real fast. And I'm so sorry I forgot to do this. My contact information.
Ah, very good. Okay.
There you go. So I have been an assistant public image coordinator. I am the incoming public image coordinator for Zone 32, starting in July, but a little early right now. I am finishing up my 3rd year on the Rotary International Communications Committee, and I'm going to miss that because I always got the inside scoop. But please, 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 please reach out to me. My email's the best way of reaching me, as Lisa knows, laura@spear.net. My cell phone, you can text. Home is probably the last way to reach me. So email, or go through Lisa. She knows how to find me.
Sure. Thank you, Laura. So David Houts, would you like to say anything, as you'll be very much involved in overseeing public image next year, next
Yep.
Rotary year?
And as just getting done creating my new business card for Rotary, I analyzed it really intensely to make sure that 500 other DGEs would not call me out. So change sometimes is difficult. Encourage your clubs to adopt the new standards. I would not mention that they could get sued by Rotary. Please don't say that. But also when you're creating brochures and other things, also I recommend sometimes not putting dates on there, because a brochure that looks nice in 2022 is not going to look nice in 2025 when they look at it and see you haven't updated it in 3 years. So there's certain things, like when you look at it in time, just encourage your clubs to do those things. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Thank you for
And
tonight's
then
presentation as well.
Our
My
Lieutenant
pleasure.
Governor Jay Penny is here. Do you have any closing comments, Jay? And then Renee, if you have anything to say as another future governor and a past chair of District of Public Image.
Only one thing I would just encourage everyone in the district to go to our district page, which there's actually 2 that Lisa and Renee worked on last year. It provides a lot of information to help with public image, as well as some of the topics that Laura covered tonight. And I can put that in the chat box too.
Yeah, including links right to the logos that you can use immediately. I mean, it really is like
Yep.
magic. What we saw tonight with Laura doing the quick demonstration, it can be that simple and easy and quick for you to do it and do it well and have it look really representative of how awesome your club really is. So thank you all for coming. Laura, any final words from you?
Oh, what a pleasure to be here tonight. So thank you for inviting me. It's great talking with all of you.
Excellent. So happy to have you. And really, you shared so much good information. I'm going to encourage everybody who's here, please tell some of your Rotary friends to watch the video. Okay, watch the recording, because I think we all got value from tonight's our investment. And I think it would be worthwhile if other club members and other club leaders would start to understand more about branding and the importance of it. Rosanna, did you have something to say? Oh, if you want to unmute Rosanna from Philadelphia, future president of our club.
I wanted to say thank you so very much. This was amazing. You know, I really think that, you know, the future of all clubs, of how to get the word out there, the message, the Rotary, it is through the internet, you know, and knowing how to promote ourselves, you know, through Facebook, through Twitter, through our websites, you know, that's where we're all heading to. And so the more that we can learn from this, the better the clubs will be, and the more that we can put our message out there to the world. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate this and looking forward to class number 2.
Yes, class number 2. Perfect segue, Rosanna. Thank you. Is happening on Saturday, February 5th, 10:30 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. with a colleague of Laura's from the Zone Public Image, right? Tom will be sharing knowledge about social media and websites. And we are well aware that some of the clubs in the district have excellent websites and some not so much, and some have not been updated. And there's problems and challenges that we're going to help you overcome, hopefully, with the training session that will happen on that Saturday. So please register. It's free. And if you haven't already, please tell some friends, and let's try to make every website and all social media posts coming out of 7450 fabulous, so that we're just going to be fabulous ambassadors about Rotary, and everybody's going to want to join, which is one of our goals, isn't it? Okay, on that note, I want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Laura Spear. You were awesome, very helpful. And I hope to see you at the next session on February 5th, the Saturday morning. So take care and thanks so much. I'm going to stick around if
Thanks,
anybody
Laura.
wants to chat. Thanks.